Alright guys, Touchcrap here back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday so far, and today we're going to talk about Optic Gaming at Los Angeles once again. TJHaLy yesterday was officially confirmed back onto the team. That leaves 4 players on the squad, and that's Slasher, Kenny, TJHaLy and Draza. The question is, are they going to have Draza as their 4th player? Are they going to bring in someone else, potentially Temp? And well, as we talked about yesterday, the situation that Slasher isn't very happy with the Hex potential buyout of Optic Gaming Los Angeles, and then the selling on of that Call of Duty slot definitely asks the question right now, did they miss out on some of their potential targets, as Slasher talked about yesterday? The likes of Priester, the likes of Gunless, they might have to settle the 3rd best here in Temp, and so, well, I'm sure Temp's pretty happy about that one, if this does indeed come true, but I have no idea really when these confirmations are going to come into effect, because things are still very uncertain with OGLA, and where exactly this spot may lie as well. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for doing that. 34,000 subscribers we hit just yesterday, I believe, so yeah, wonderful stuff, and well, let's continue with the video. Enable tweets this out with him and Nadeshot. There's been loads of bait going on over the last couple of days on the timeline. 100 Thieves, you got Kenny in the background. Yeah, similar thing from Octane here with some of the 100 Thieves guys from last season. You got Kenny, you got Priester, you got Crowder, of course, Muddog, Slasher, Octane, and Enable, of course, here then in the corner. You get this from Crowder as well after they won. I think this was after maybe Anaheim or something. They had some party going on over there. But, well, definitely implying that, well, something's going on. 100 Thieves are coming back, whatever. I know this is probably just bait, right? Because we talked the other day that Nadeshot says that it's unlikely that he's going to be able to get back into League. You know, the spot is really, really expensive if they wanted to buy the Los Angeles spots from Hector, and well, Activision would take a cut of the sale and whatever, so it's a bit of, well, it obviously has to be approved as well on Activision Blizzard and the CDL side, which is why things are so uncertain right now, and why Slasher, I suppose, has been so frustrated, the fact that if you're a guy like Gunless, for example, or a guy like Priester, it's like, okay, do I want to sign to OGLA that could potentially get sold to another organization? Do I know if that organization is any good? Do I know if the management is any good? You don't, because you don't know who's going to buy it right now. And then again, you also don't know what brand it's going to be, like, because Optic Gaming, I imagine, as a brand is probably going to be Hector's intellectual property now, and he may use that to rebrand the Huntsmen to some degree. That's what we've been discussing, and if that is the case, then whoever buys the Optic Gaming Los Angeles slot will then have to create an entirely new brand, and may even move cities, right? It may not be absolutely necessary that they stay in Los Angeles. They could move cities, they could obviously create an entirely new brand, which means if you're going to sign to OGLA right now, it's very uncertain who you're actually going to be playing for, and it's much better, I suppose, to have some stability, and also in signing for a team like Priest has done at the Minnesota Rocker, get paid for the next few months as well before the season even begins. If the Optic Gaming situation comes into effect, who knows what happens, right? Uncertainty is, well, not exactly fun. So yes, I can understand why Priester and Gunless, if they were in talks with Slasher and co over at OGLA, decided to go their own separate ways, and now, well, Slasher's thinking, who the hell do we get onto this team potentially? And well, I mean, obviously this bait around 100 Thieves, and another picture here from the 100 Thieves, like, after party or whatever. Forget exactly when this was, but you can see a number of, well, big names on the screen right here. This came out as well from Nadeshot, this picture with Hector, Dr. Disrespect to Nade from, I think maybe the Esports Awards or something a while ago, so that was really, really cool to see. However, is this going to be the case? I mean, we've heard a lot of things either way over the last couple of days. I doubt it personally, but, well, it's not out of the question, right? Anything can still happen, and, well, stay tuned for the channel. All the information will be coming at you thick and fast when it does get confirmed. Optic Gaming say the following several days ago now, welcome back Slasher, Kenny, and Draza. So Slasher and Kenny, of course, wanted to be a team of 2 going into Modern Warfare. They are continuing on this squad as well. Draza they brought back as well. I imagine they want Draza to be their substitute player. They brought him in middle of the season. He did some great things for them, to be honest, when he did join the squad late in the online season. But, yeah, at the end of the day, he was an amateur player. His name is Hazard, spelled backwards, if you guys didn't realize that. And I imagine he was on the minimum salary, right? And if you got a player on the minimum salaried contract, you can just extend his contract for next season, pay him a similar amount, and probably planning, I imagine Slasher and Kenny are thinking, okay, Draza was a good player when he joined us, but if we can get in someone maybe more proven, that's won events in the past, that's done this kind of stuff, you know, that we've maybe played with in the past longer than we have with Draza, that's probably going to be a better idea. And it really is a question why TJHaLy wasn't initially re-signed when this was going on. Maybe it was something to do with, well, the contract renegotiations, because they could, I suppose, have extended his contract, but maybe they wanted to pay him less or drop his salary or something like that, similar to what we are supposedly going to see with, like, something like the London Royal Ravens, where they could have just extended, well, they did extend Shawnee's contract, who was a substitute, because they extended it because I imagine he was minimum salary with the 1+1 thing going on, but with a guy like Dylan Codd, they're probably paying him significantly more. They decided to release him, and then it looks like they're going to try and re-sign Dylan again. So maybe that's a similar thing to what's happened with TJHaLy here, but yesterday they do officially confirm the Iceman returns. Welcome back TJHaLy, and Marlog has talked about this a couple of different times, saying that TJ is, well, he's going to be back, and well, he is indeed confirmed back. I imagine they did some sort of contract renegotiation negotiation with TJ before they did confirm his re-signing. So yeah, a lot of organizations looking to cut costs to some degree. So the question mark then comes, TJ, Slasher and Kenny is a pretty damn good trio, right? And we thought it was going to be a great trio, to be honest, going into Modern Warfare with Dashy on the team, with well, Jacob on the team, looked so good on paper, didn't of course work out. But this core three going back to a 4 versus 4 boots on the ground game is a very exciting prospect given what we saw from these players back in the World War II days. But will this game play anything like World War II? It may be much faster paced, and that's really the question mark for me when it comes down to nailing down the 4th player on this squad. What type of player do you want on your team? And well, the potential player could be Donny Temp, as he says that he was playing with Slasher, Classic and Happy in this Modern Warfare 2 throwback tournament a few days ago. He's played with Slasher in the past as well, as we will look at, and as Slasher said in this clip that we looked at yesterday, he hasn't been able to build the team he wanted to because of the whole Opta Gaming drama that's gone on in the potential sale to Hector Rodriguez over at NRG, looking then to divest that spot to a new potential, well, CDL organization, which of course is a very exciting prospect, but not really for Slasher and the Opta Gaming guys that have struggled to put together a team. The rumor is Temp. Now, this is the team that is potentially going to be formed. TJ, Kenny and Slasher. Slasher, of course, as the main assault rifle. He's wanted to play this role. TJ, of course, as the main SMG. That leaves the question mark as to where Kenny slots into the team, because Kenny was a phenomenal SMG, the best SMG in the game, the best player in the game in World War II in his first season, really, in his first full season. He played Advanced Warfare a bit as well back in 2015 before the age restriction came into effect. But Kenny was like the best SMG, the best player in the game with the PPSH in hand. But frankly, the PPSH played quite different in terms of an SMG role than did, well, a lot of SMGs in more recent history, the likes of the Sorg, the likes of the MP5. And Kenny, frankly, has been better the last couple of seasons with the Maddox in hand in Black Ops 4 and pretty much with the M4 in hand when he could as like a flex in Modern Warfare, right? Because you never got super cracked with the PPSH if you want to look through it through that lens. Like, it was a more positional play. Like, yes, you could play kind of fast, but you could beam people at long range, and it wasn't like a sliding around corners type of thing like the last couple of games. Seems like Kenny kind of fits better into that role. Now, back to a 4v4 situation, the question mark is which SMG is going to dominate the game. Is it going to be the AK-74U? If it is, that probably fits Kenny's playstyle very nicely indeed, and he can be a second SMG to TJHaLy. The question mark really is Kenny more comfortable in a flex role using like an AR most of the time and an SMG some of the time if necessary? Maybe that's true, right? And that's the well, that's the big issue really going into a new Call of Duty. You never really know which role you're going to be more comfortable in, so that's why you want to try and build as versatile a potential squad as possible, which is why I really liked the Priest to pick up onto this team, reuniting of course some of the old 100 Thieves guys. Now with Priest going to Minnesota Rocker, with Gunless maybe in consideration, and if Gunless was here, he was always going to be the flex, so Kenny would have been obviously using the SMG full time alongside TJHaLy in that situation. If it is going to be a traditional 2 SMGs, one kind of flex like using the SMG or the AR when it matters, and then one main assault rifle in Slasher on your team, that would have been what Kenny would have had to do. In this situation with Temp potentially coming in, what does that mean, right? Is Temp going to run an SMG at times? Is Kenny going to mainly run the SMG and Temp on the flex? That's probably what's most likely, but either of these guys could potentially pick it up, right? And Temp has been a great player throughout his career, like at least statistically, in terms of like pure gun skill and that type of attribute to his gameplay, and he did actually get over the hump finally this season and win a championship, right? We talked for a number of seasons about, well, we'll have a look in a second at this World War II team from, the Team Envy squad, as you can see right here. This was Slasher, Hook, Temp and Classic reuniting from the squad that came second at the MLG World Finals under Denial after, after Temp took a couple of years off playing because of the age restriction and all that kind of stuff. But, they got onto this Team Envy squad. This was meant to be so good on paper, right? Reuniting this whole team. I mean, you've got Hook on the squad, Temp on the team, Slasher, Classic. Like, this was so good on paper, especially coming out of Infinite Warfare when Classic was one of the best players in the entire game on Luminosity Gaming, if you guys forget that. So this was meant to be so good, and well, it pretty much fell flat on its face, and so many people were saying, is it Hook who's like overrated? Is Temp overrated? What's going on here? Why has this team failed? And then of course Slasher went on to leave this team and win 2 championships on Rise Nation at Anaheim and then Seattle. So and then Hook of course this season now won the World Championship on Dallas Empire. So the question mark was there, like, is Temp the problem all along? And well, he did finally get over the hump and win a championship. Yes, it was online, but on New York Subliners this season, and he wasn't the greatest statistical player this season, but he didn't necessarily have to be. Previous seasons he's been very good, like Black Ops 4 for example. A lot of people would say he was like a top 10 player in the game. He consistently had like the highest damage, like every single series in the Pro League. It was remarkable. So Temp I think is a great pickup, probably one of the greatest free agents on the market as it stands right now. And well, Slasher does have some experience playing with him in the past, and obviously not his first choice, right? Priester and Gunless potentially were the top 2, but if he is considering Temp right now and the rest of the guys are considering getting Temp in, I think think it would make sense. I think if you want to compete with some of the best teams in the game right now, the likes of the team that Atlanta FaZe has put together in Simp, Abizi, Celium, and Arcides, Chicago Huntsmen, of course, with Scump, Envoy, Dashy, and Formal, and then you've got the reigning world champions in Dallas Empire, OGLA, Shotzi, and Crimsix minus Clayster, and well, those are the top 3 teams in most people's estimation right now in some order or another. If you want to beat those teams, you probably need some firepower, and Temp may be your guy for the job. And GodRx also did reply to this one from, well, Credit Studio Intel yesterday saying, you know, maybe consider me, but he's also been tweeting about running it up in challenges, so maybe he isn't going to get a spot on a starting team. So these are some of the other free agents available. I definitely think that Temp is one of the best out of the other options. Of course, Classic, we just saw that have played on that team in the past with Slasher, but as I say, I think firepower is really the aim of the game here, you know, especially to compete with some of those top teams if you actually want to win championships. And yes, there's the risk with chemistry with Temp and whether it's going to work out, but well, if you're firing on all cylinders with Temp, you're going to have a great team. So I think he's probably a better option than some of the other ones on the table, but I'm of course very intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for making it this far. If you did make it this far or learn something new, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know that you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. Thank you for watching. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time.